1.5 hours or so, I'll talk about length about the various dimensions of UPSC. A to Z I'll cover from the syllabus, from the pattern, from how the UPSC trend has changed in the last 10 to 12 years, because we are closely monitoring all these dimensions. I'll explain you in complete totality. Okay. See, first thing I want all of you to understand is that when I say first attempt, it does not mean ఇవాళ అడ్మిషన్ తీసుకొని 6 నెలల్లో IAS ఆఫీసర్ అయిపోతా. No, that is not the essence of first attempt. First attempt means 9 to 10 months of foundational coaching, 5 to 6 months of personal preparation, every day 10 to 12 hours of preparation. After that, giving your first attempt. First attempt does not mean this year 2022 you join, 2023 you will pass. It may not happen like that. Okay. Very rare cases it happens only when a student has been preparing for 3 to 4 years. See, we generally take this example of Tina Dabino, that she cleared the examination in her first attempt and got the first rank in the first attempt. But nobody knows the background reality that for 4 years she went to an institute before giving her first attempt. So if she has, because she has invested 4 years, means 48 months of time in her preparation, that is when she got the first rank in the first attempt. That we need to understand, comprehend, and include that in our strategy of UPSC. Okay? So first attempt does not mean you join today and within 6 months you will make it. It will take time. It will take time. The gestation period for UPSC is minimum 18 to 24 months. If somebody is telling you that it will happen in 6 months or 8 months, my sincere advice, do not visit that person or do not visit that place once again in your life, because they are not tracking factual content. Coming to the pattern, some of you know it, some of you do not know it. UPSC is a 3-staged examination. It means in UPSC there are 3 stages. The first stage is called your prelims examination. The second stage is your mains examination. And the third stage is your personality test. Though we have written interview, but it is primarily a personality test. The difference between interview in personality test is, interview is more factual based, personality test is basically trying to see the personality of a person as a particular office holder in the government of India. So whether you belong to that category of people who can be placed as an officer or not. That is the basic difference. Say you got very good marks in your written examination, but your attitude or your inclination towards a particular section of the society is negative. Say you are a staunch Hindu who are against negative, against what you call Muslim community. If tomorrow you are made an IAS or IPS officer, you may use your power of authority to negatively influence that section of society. So these dimensions are checked thoroughly during the process of personality test. Okay, try to understand. It's just an example. Prelims examination, as we all know, it is objective in orientation. The prelims test is objective in oriented. The prelims test, as we all know, the prelims test, we have 2 papers, right? The first paper is your GS paper and the second paper is your CSAT paper. The GS paper is for 200 marks and the CSAT paper is also for 200 marks. 2 dimensions about prelims you need to understand is, first, prelims is an objective test. This is one dimension. The second dimension, it is only qualifying in nature. It means whatever marks you get in prelims, they do not get carried forward for the mains, right? Objective and qualifying. 200 marks, you will have 100 questions. 100 questions at the rate of 2 marks for each question. That is how it will become 200 marks. Here you have 80 questions at the rate of 2.5 marks. That is how it will become 200 marks. Now, what happens is, for GS, for the paper 2 of prelims CSAT, the UPSC very clearly mentions, for passing this paper, you need to get 66 marks. If you get 66 marks, you have qualified the paper 2 of your prelims. For the 66 marks, there is no reservation. Whether you are general side, OBC, SC, ST, everybody should get 66 marks for sure. But when it comes to the GS paper, The cutoff is deciding you are qualifying this paper or not. The qualifying of this paper is based on something known as cutoff. And over the last couple of years, even if I average out the last couple of years, if you are a general category student, anywhere between 85 to 105 is generally the cutoff. Last year if you see, some 83, 84 was the cutoff for your general category student. Many a times it varies. In 2016 the cutoff was 116. So it depends on certain dimensions. At this stage you are not supposed to know. Certain dimensions decide what is the general cutoff level, right? So if you are an OBC, you can deduct around 5 to 7 marks. If you belong to the SC/ST category, maybe further 7 to 8 marks you can reduce from the cutoff. Assuming you cross the cutoff and you cross the 66 figure, it means you have qualified in the stage 1, that is prelims examination, right? When it comes to stage 2, that is your mains exam. In this mains exam, you have total 9 papers. But the difference between prelims and mains is, when prelims was an objective examination, mains is a subjective examination, or you can also use the word descriptive examination. This is what is mains. Descriptive, you have to write, you have to theoretically write. And 9 papers are there. Out of these 9 papers, 2 papers are qualifying in nature and remaining 7 papers are counting for merit. When your merit is drawn, your performance in these 7 papers is deciding your merit in the examination. So like this, the 2 qualifying papers are: 1, any Indian language paper which is mentioned in the Constitution of India, the 8th schedule. Students from this particular state take Telugu or Hindi or Sanskrit as their Indian language paper. There are 22 Indian languages mentioned in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. You can choose any language other than English. English you cannot take as the first paper in your language paper, because the second paper by default is an English paper. So these 2 papers are qualifying in nature. It means the UPSC will tell you this is the number of marks that you should get. Both the papers are for 300 marks. Both the papers are for 300 marks, and UPSC says you should get a minimum of 25%. It means paper 1 you should get 75 marks and paper 2 you should get minimum of 75 marks. Believe me, students have failed in the past even in these language papers also. Now what the beauty is, as I told you, there are 2 qualifying papers, remaining 7 counting for merit. UPSC will allow you to write all the papers in one go, but when they sit to do the correction, they will see your performance here. If you have failed in either of these 2 subjects or both the subjects, your qualifying for merit papers will not be corrected only, because UPSC believes that you have failed to perform in a qualifying paper. So that is how these papers will not be corrected and it will be left blank in your answer. Okay. So try to understand with that particular perspective, right? Yeah, this is important from that particular perspective. See, one more dimension that we all need to understand is that when I said these 2 are important, it means that we need to put in some effort in those papers before your mains examination comes, because grammatically these papers are tested. They are basically trying to test your grammar. So that is very important. You need to make certain amount of effort towards this also. Now in the remaining 7 subjects, the first paper is your essay paper, which is for 250 marks. After this you have 4 GS papers: GS paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 and paper 4. All the papers are for 250 marks each. So 250 into 5, making it to 1250 marks is your kind of the total score of your GS, including your essay paper. Okay? Other than these 5 papers, there are 2 more papers left. Out of these 2 papers, these papers are basically your optional papers. One subject, 2 papers. Paper 1, paper 2, same subject. Whether it is anthropology, sociology, agriculture, public administration, PSIR, mathematics, any subject you can choose. There is a long list of subjects, right? 2 papers, as I said, 250 marks and 250 marks, the total making it to 1750 marks. This is the score, what you call score for your mains examination. This is the battlefield. This is the battlefield in UPSC. So this is where you have to fight the battle of UPSC for the merit. 1750 marks, all these 5 GS papers including essay and 2 optional papers. And if you cross this, the third stage when you go, this is when your personality test is conducted. As I told you, 1750 marks is your mains, 275 marks is your personality test, total making it to 2025 marks. And anybody getting 50% also, there is large scope, there is a large probability that you are contending for the first position in UPSC. Just imagine, with 50% you will get first rank. In graduation, school and intermediate, 99.99999 we got, right? But we struggle to get 50% also in UPSC. That is the difficulty level of this particular examination. Okay? With this, we go to the, if I take you back to the same slide where we started. See, as I told you, 2 papers for prelims and 9 papers for main. And the marking system in prelims, I'll talk 1 minute, I'll take here. The marking system for prelims, paper 1 is 2 marks and 2.5 marks. And UPSC, we have a negative marking of 1/3. Whatever you write, if there is a wrong answer, whatever right answer marks you have got, out of that 1/3 marks will go. In UPSC, very, very careful one has to be, right? Then duration of the time, prelims both the papers 2 hours and mains paper, each paper you will get 3 hours to write, including your qualifying paper and other subject papers also. Type of questions I spoke, prelims is objective, mains is subjective. The number of posts that are released by the government every year varies anywhere between 650 to 675 to 1000 and 1100 also. You are lucky if the notification is above 900, because more the number of notification, the more the chances of you making it into it, right? Like last time when the results have come, the number of vacancies were only 675. So it means that the competition becomes tougher and tougher. Okay? See, understand in UPSC, you know, if say 5 lakh people apply for UPSC, if 5 lakh people apply for UPSC, take it in writing from me, your competition is only with this 10% people who are 50,000 in numbers. These are the people, 10% of the people who are serious contenders. Now the question is, if there are 1000 vacancies, you have to find your way into this 1000. This is the challenge. And if there are 1000 vacancies, simple and straight logic, he will take 1:13 or 1:14 for mains. It means if there are 1000 vacancies, he will take 13,000 students to write the mains examination. This ratio is UPSC specific. Nobody can question the authority of UPSC here, including the government, because UPSC is a constitutional body. They can decide how much percentage of people, 1:2, how many people who have applied, how many people I will ask, qualify them for the next stage. If it is 1:13 and there are 1000 posts, 13,000 students would qualify in prelims. Now, how many people I told you 10% are the serious students? If 50,000 serious students are there, now your challenge is to land within 13,000. It doesn't make a difference if you are 12,999 or even if you are first position, because it is only qualifying in nature. It does not have any effect, positive or negative, on your future mains examination. Okay, so this is one dimension. But when it comes from prelims to mains, and from mains to interview, personality test, this ratio further gets skewed. What he will do? 1:2.5 or at max 1:3. If there are 1000 posts available for taking, he will give only 3000 people passed in mains, and 1:3 you have to pass your personality test. The moment you land here, your chances of making it into UPSC increases because the competition reduces. So the major competition is where? In the prelims stage, and over a period of time the difficulty level of prelims, they are increasing and increasing and increasing. When I was a student like you, prelims was a cakewalk, but mains was very difficult, very difficult. You have to break your head to write what he is asking. But nowadays prelims has become more difficult, and mains they have reduced the what you call difficulty level. They would have their own reasoning, we will not question that. But you have to understand that here the battle has become more and more difficult. So out of this 10% lot, your struggle is to land somewhere there. So if you want to land in that 13,000, within the limit of 13,000, you will have to put in 18 to 24 months of effort, consistent effort. The word is consistent effort. In a month, if you think 2 days I will work 18 hours a day, rest all the days I will sleep off, it will not work in UPSC. It is the tortoise that wins the race in UPSC, always remember. It is never a rabbit. It has never so happened in the UPSC history that a rabbit won the UPSC race. No, it is always the tortoise who will win the UPSC race. Consistent 3 to 4 hours of effort every day, other than classroom learning. Other than classroom learning. I will talk about it in some time. The qualifying criteria, the age limit and other things. As we all know, general category people, 21 to 32 years of age, you can write this examination. General category people will get how many attempts? The 6 attempts. And the OBC people will get 9 attempts, and there is no limit on the number of attempts for the SC/ST people. It means from 21 till the age of what you call 37 years, because you have got 5 years of extension. So for 32 plus 5 makes it 37. It means even if you start at the age of 21 till 37, if you write every year, it means SC/ST students will get 16 attempts to pass UPSC examination. So 10 attempts more than the general category students, and 7 attempts more than the what you call OBC students. So this is what is the qualifying requirement. Must hold a degree from a recognized university with, I think, must hold a degree from a recognized university. That is the only criteria which UPSC is asking you to have before you write this examination. Okay? Now, there are lot of myths. Myths is apoha in Telugu, myths, right? There are a lot of myths about UPSC. The first and foremost myth is we need to study 18 hours a day. This is partially true. Obviously, when our exams are drawing close in the graduation, you and I all have studied. Whole night we used to wake up, study, go and write the exam, come back and sleep off. This is what we used to do. So this 18 hours a day, it will happen with your preparation also, but this cannot go beyond 10-15 days. Say for example, today is 17th of October, right? So for example, your examination is on 17th of November. 1 month is left. So maybe a month before you are doing this much of effort every day. But this cannot be consistently performed for 1 year or 2 years, because your health will suffer, because you need to have a particular amount of time. So this myth is partially true. For some days, yes, you will, but it may not be feasible for entire duration of your preparation, right? One must be very intelligent. Yes, intelligence is a very important quality that one must have to become an IAS officer. But more than intelligent, you have to be consistent with your hard work. If you are hardworking, this intelligence dimension can be taken care of in UPSC. See, intelligence has only 3 parameters, always remember. One is your analytical ability. Second is your ability to concentrate on a particular task. The third ability is the ability to remember things. Ability to remember things. These two are very, very important in UPSC. Even if you are analytically weak, your things are taken care of, don't worry. But when it comes to other two dimensions, remembrance capability and the ability to concentrate, you are sitting with the book, 10 నిమిషాలు కూడా కాలేదు, అరే వాట్సాప్ స్టేటస్, అరే యూట్యూబ్ వీడియో, నో. You have to develop a habit at least for 40-45 minutes కన్సిస్టెంట్గా మీరు కూర్చొని చదవగలగాలి. సో దిస్ షుడ్ బి యువర్ టార్గెట్. ఫ్రెండ్ ఈజ్ ఆస్కింగ్ చల్రా చాయ్ తాగొద్దాం, నో, my 45 minutes is not over, I will surely come, but after 45. So you need to develop that personality to concentrate on whatever you are doing, in that intelligence, right? So one must be very intelligent, yes, partially true, but certain dimensions of intelligence can be worked upon, right? It takes 5 to 6 years of preparation. If the strategy is wrong, this is also not sufficient. But if the strategy is right, if you ask me personally, this amount of time is more than sufficient. If your strategy is right, you are consistently hardworking, and if you are guided well, things will automatically fall in place within 2 years, right? And difficult for the BTech students, it is a myth. More than 80% students who are qualifying UPSC nowadays are BTech students only, right? So don't worry about this dimension. We need strong English. Somebody asked me today, Manjunath I think, he said, sir, my English is weak. I said, your English need not be strong, because it is not a test of English language. UPSC is not a test of language, it is a test of your awareness levels. When your awareness levels increase, automatically your vocabulary will also increase. See, the way I am able to talk very fluently in English today, definitely when I was a student, I would not have been able to talk. Yes or no? You all agree with me? So it is only over a period of time, when I have been repeatedly reading certain dimensions related to UPSC, that confidence in the language will come. It will come to you also. So that is how you don't have to be, on the day of joining, you should not know everything. If you know everything on the day of joining, there is no purpose for you joining. So it is not that you should know everything before joining. If you know, fairly understand what I am saying in English to you, it is more than sufficient. This question of doubt that Telugu medium students have, sir, నాకు ఇంగ్లీష్ అంత బాగా రాదు, నేను ఏం చేయాలి? ఏమీ చేయొద్దు. I am here to teach you every dimension, including your language also. Okay? So this one myth I wanted to talk about. Timelines in UPSC, I told you 18 to 24 months before you should start. By what time the mains preparation should be over? When you are going to write the prelims examination, that day you should be confident of taking your mains examination or even facing the interview board. If you are confident that day, on the day of your prelims examination, if UPSC tells me tomorrow your mains examination start, you should say, okay, give me the question paper, I'll write the answer. If UPSC tells you tomorrow you have to face the interview board, okay, give me 5 minutes, let me wear my tie and come, take me to the interview board. That should be your confidence level. This you have to understand how these are the timelines that you should do. People generally say, after prelims I'll prepare for mains. That is one of the most wrong approach that you will do. You will not have time at all. Prelims ke baad mein you will never have time, because UPSC is nowadays hardly giving 75 to 80 days for your mains examination. That is not even sufficient for your optional also. Forget ethics, forget essay, forget GS 1, 2, 3. So nothing will happen in those days. So you have to prepare your mains before your prelims preparations actually starts, right? When to start optional classes? Once your GS classes start, as a thumb rule, 2.5 to 3 months into GS preparation, immediately jump into your optional classes. Okay? When to start preparation for CSAT? If your mathematics is weak, if your English is weak, if unluckily both are weak, then your CSAT preparation should start simultaneously with your GS preparation. If you are strong in maths, if you are strong in English, then maybe 5 to 6 months before your prelims examination, start your CSAT. But if unluckily both are weak, then parallelly with your GS, your CSAT preparation should also start. See, I have seen MTech students failing in CSAT paper. MTech gold medalist failing in CSAT paper. People with mathematics as their graduation subjects failing in CSAT paper. So it is not easy now. The difficulty level of the CSAT is going up and up. Prepare for that subject very, very particularly. I know students who got 160 in paper 1 when the cutoff was 83, but did not get 66 in paper 2. Does it have any value? Does it have any value when you did not get 66? Useless. It means he gave more importance to something which he was strong at and less importance to something where he was weak at. So it is illogical approach. So your strategy is wrong here. And when to take the test series? Even if your 60 to 65% of your syllabus is complete, start taking the test series, because test series will give you an understanding what you have not studied in foundation, what you need to cover over and above what has been taught to you. So 60 to 65% test series may immediately you jump. Very, very important. An NCERT a must or a myth? Lot of students ask these questions to me. Sir, NCERT is chadvala. See, historically there are many students who have passed UPSC without even reading NCERT once. There are many students who have gotified NCERTs but did not pass UPSC. So there is a mixed combination. So that is why I cannot say whether it is a must or it is a myth. It could be both. But if could be both, it is advisable to give one thorough reading and one revision, rapid revision reading. This you should do. One thorough reading, don't have to make NCERT ka notes, not required. Just highlight, keep that books aside, one thorough reading, one revision reading, then jump into your what you call prescribed textbooks or the class notes. It is advisable. So it is neither must, it is nor a myth, it is both. NCERT, one textbook, class 6, class 7, class 8, you will take hardly a day to read one book. Hardly a day, starting से लेके पीछे तक पढ़ने में मुश्किल से एक दिन लगेगा. And एक दिन also I am very quantifying very highly. One day kuda pattadu. Even it will not take one day. 3 to 4 hours concentratedly if you sit, you can complete the entire book. Not in the first reading, probably in the revision reading. Okay. Now, division of time in a day. In a day, how you have to divide your time in the UPSC preparation. Total time 24. Anybody who says I got more? I hope nobody, right? So the minimum sleep time is 8 o'clock. I hope there is no Sadguru here sitting in the class who can sleep only for 3 hours and still stay active. So we need 8 hours of minimum sleep. 2 to 3 hours for daily routine, taking bath, doing some daily affairs, 2 to 3 hours. 4 to 6 hours will go in your classroom. 4 to 6 hours will go in the classroom. So if I take 2 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours and 6 hours, 16 hours. What is left with you? 8 hours time is left with you. This is the time that will decide whether you will become an IAS officer or not. I am again repeating my statement. This is the time, how you utilize this 8 hours of time will decide whether you will become an IAS, IPS officer or not. It is not this time that will decide. It is your self-preparation time that will decide whether you will become an IAS or IPS officer or not. You have to decide this time, use this time very, very effectively. Even if you are able to utilize this 6 hours, 1 hour of revision what has been taught to you in the classroom. Very, very important. 1 hour you have to give. What has been taught the same night before you sleep, you have to revise what has been taught before you come to the class next day. Minimum 2 hours parallelly do self-study of the subjects that you are weak or parallelly. Say for example, polity, history, your classes are going on. A month before your economy has been taught. So the remaining 2 hours once the classroom revision is being done, remaining 2 hours economy that has been taught to you previous month, you have to give 2 hours to revise that subject thoroughly and create your data bank of knowledge which is over and above your subject in the classroom. The remaining 3 hours gradually you will have to dedicate for your optional preparation. You have to dedicate the 3 hours remaining for your optional. So the first 3 months you will get this complete 6 hours for GS. You make maximum utilization there. The moment this 3 months over, because your optional responsibility will also come into play, this 3 hours will go to attend the optional classes. That is when over a period of time, in this 2 hours of self-study, 1 hour of self-study for GS, 1 hour of self-study for optional will happen for 4-5 months like this. So that is how you have to be very particular. That is why I tell you have to have your routine plan in place. If you do not have your routine plan in UPSC preparation, believe me, time flies. Before you come to know, 9 months will be over. So you have to be very particular in choosing your time of preparation. Very particular. 5 mistakes every student makes, including you will make. Because we learn only after doing this mistake. The first and the foremost is hurried preparation. Sir, 6 months lo అయిపోవాలి. Sir, family వాళ్ళు only 5 hours ఇచ్చారు. 6 months తర్వాత పెళ్లి చేస్తా అన్నారు సార్. మా నాన్న ఒప్పుకోవట్లేదు సార్. ఆస్తులు ఇవ్వడంట సార్. పెళ్లి చేసుకోమన్నాడు సార్. So these things will not work in UPSC. This is not a graduate examination, try to understand. It will take time. You have to be patient. If you do hurried preparation, you will land in Yashoda Hospital and nowhere else. If it is too emergency, we will take you to Jagadamba Hospital, which is nearby. Okay? So be very patient with your preparation. Joining the optional, immediately joining the GS, this is the gravest mistake that you will do. Your GS will also get spoiled, your optional will also get spoiled. Believe. So take things step by step. 2 to 3 months into GS preparation, see what is suiting your mindset, whether it is history, whether it is geography, whether it is public administration, then jump into your optional. Okay? Prelims oriented preparation chestaru. No. From day 1 onwards, the preparation should be mains oriented, interview oriented. So today topic has been taught to you, any topic on history, modern history, the phase of extremists. If an interview panel asks me a question from today's class, I should be confidently able to give an answer. That should be your approach. Interview, the personality test oriented approach. If not that, at least mains oriented approach. If prelims oriented approach will not help you in mains. Okay? Attempting without completion of preparation. There are many students whose GS classes are going on and still they go and try to attempt the examination. It is useless without any use. Sir, I want to get a feel of examination. Not required. You marry only once. You don't marry first to get a feel of it, then again marry finally. Sir, this is my final marriage, sir. That does not apply to UPSC also. Try to give it. See, the happiness of clearing this examination in the first attempt, you will carry this happiness for the rest of your life. People will talk about you for the rest of your life if you make it happen in the first attempt. So give time to yourself. Okay? And mugging up the data, never ever do this mistake of mugging up. This is not a graduate level examination. There is so much of data to mug up. The cranial capacity is not sufficient enough. So you cannot mug up the data on UPSC. You have to understand the essence of the data that is being given to you. If you mug up, you will fail, definitely. What they should technically do, you should have a subject-wise strategy. You should have mains-oriented preparation. Very important. Most of you will avoid. You should address the weak areas thoroughly. But what general human psyche, what we are strong at, we keep on repeating that subject. No, the strategy is called eating the frog first strategy. Eating the frog first strategy. So wherever you are weak, try to work on that particular area. Guidance of mentor at every stage of your preparation is very important. Have patience, it will take time. Have patience, it will take time. Do not be in a hurry. If you are in a hurry, you are at the wrong place. See, always try to be independent rather dependent in UPSC. If somebody is teaching you in a dimension that you are creating a dependence on that person for your selection, then your strategy is wrong. If somebody is training to be a fighter, if somebody is training you to be a fighter, I will leave you in the Chakravyuh, you should have the ability to kill everybody and come out of it. If I only throw you in the Chakravyuh and do not tell you how to exit out of the Chakravyuh, then it is of no use to you. So you have to understand that my preparation should not make me dependent on somebody, it should make me independent of somebody. The moment you feel for any subject, I am becoming dependent on this person, change the strategy straight away then and there itself, before it is too late. Before it is too late. Where the success comes from? The success does not come from here. Believe me, the success comes from what you do sitting on your chair in your room, wherever you are staying. Your success is written on this table, not on this table. No. I do not want to take the credit for your success. If somebody is taking the credit, that is wrong. Whatever you will become depends on this chair that you are sitting and doing. I told you, the 8 hours beyond the classroom that you have, that will decide what you will get. It is not here. Do not spend too much time thinking that if I am regularly attending all the classes, I need not study after the classes, I will pass the examination. There is no bigger fool than you. So it is your own chair, wherever you are sitting and study, that is the chair that will get you what you are dreaming of. Okay? Very important. The 3-pillared approach. The 3-pillared approach, 3 most important. You have your own friends or family members who are writing this examination. You ask them if they are not clearing prelims or mains. You don't have to ask them which subject they are weak. The answer will definitely lie in either of these 3 subjects, whether polity, history or economy. So these are the 3 pillars of UPSC which you have to use the so-called Ambuja cement to strengthen these pillars. Okay? So try to understand that these are the 3 pillars of UPSC. Everything you should be knowing about this. If I have to add one pillar here, no, add the pillar of environment here. If at all it has to be a 4-pillared approach, environment. If these 4 subjects are there, nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. 120 plus is guaranteed. Nobody can stop you in prelims. Vocabulary. The subject vocabulary has to be developed over a period of time. Your English which was there in graduation is of no use in UPSC. In UPSC, the English that they are expecting you to write is known as administrative English. It is known as administrative English. That is what they are looking at. If they are looking at administrative English, you have to develop this. And in all these subjects, you know, which is the most difficult subject to build up the vocabulary? Ethics. Most difficult subject to build the vocabulary, because these subjects you will be reading in the newspaper, classroom learning, everything will happen, but nobody will teach you the ethical vocabulary. When I am saying ethical vocabulary, I am not meaning definitions of ethics. No, you don't have to by heart any definition of ethics when you attend my classes. But it becomes very difficult to write a philosophical dimension ethical question. The most difficult subject when it comes to the ability of writing an examination. Okay? So keep that in mind. How to improve your English? This is the most important, and most important of all, forget the letter writing part. The newspaper editorial article is very, very important. If you can understand, comprehend the message of the newspaper editorial article, it means your English is improving. Whenever you read an article in English newspaper, an editorial article, one where this article finds a mention in my syllabus, ఈ నా సిలబస్లో ఈ ఆర్టికల్ గురించి ఎక్కడ రాసుంది, ఇండియన్ ఎకానమీ, బ్యాలెన్స్ ఆఫ్ పేమెంట్, క్యాపిటల్ అకౌంట్, దిస్ ఈస్ ద ప్లేస్ వేర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ రిటన్. ఓకే, డన్. 2. Are there any important words which I do not know which have featured in this article? Underline that, Google about it, write in your book. This word means this. Capital outflow means the dollars moving away from India to any other country. It is capital outflow. So, okay, I have learnt a new word. Now, the essence of the article. That is how it is called 3-pronged approach of learning the editorial articles. In a newspaper, The editorial page will initially take 2 hours minimum for a student to grasp the content, what the message it is giving. That is the reason why do not start reading Hindu newspaper from day one. Do not commit this mistake for heaven's sake. If you do that, you will only develop fear for that Hindu newspaper. Allow certain dimensions in the classroom to get over. As a thumb rule, if you join 24th October, 3 months, 24th November, 24th December, 24th January. After 24th January, I will start reading the newspaper. The 3 months of time that you are not reading the newspaper, the daily current affairs that the institution is providing to you, read from there. Because we will dilute the standard of language presentation and give it to you for easy comprehension. Okay? So this is one dimension. I suggest start seeing this. The CNN channel Al Jazeera is the best. Provided Al Jazeera ka do not get carried away by their ideological perspective of Al Jazeera. It is a channel with a particular objective. Leave the objective aside, look at the content only. Do not get carried away by their content, the objective. Okay? Only see these are the toppers who have got. None of the topper got the highest marks in interview. Why is it so? None of the topper got highest marks in interview. Why is it so? If you are academically strong, it does not mean your personality is pleasing or strong. So that is the reason why. See, this girl got 162, Ira Singhal, but still she topped. Just see the score, 1082 in her days were considered to be very, very great. 2013 or 14. 2014 mein crossing 1000 means it is great, and crossing the 50% marks means very, very great. So that is when even by getting 162, the topper got 206, 38 and what you call 6, 44 marks difference only in interview, but still she topped. And the second position guy got 40 marks less than her overall. So it means she had a total 80 plus marks of lead in mains examination only. Very beautiful story of Ira Singhal, a physically handicapped girl. When she wrote for the first time, she got IRS, Revenue Service. When she wanted to write again, UPSC said you cannot claim your category again. एक बार category claim किया, तुमको नौकरी दे दिया, करो चुपचाप. Then she wrote the examination without category and topped the exam. So see the determination, that fire in the belly, to prove myself. So she became a topper. Both her limbs are, not in right shape. She has to be lifted and to be made sat somewhere. See her health condition, but what she has achieved, 1082 in those days was considered to be very, very great. So it means that your scores in the mains examination, that 1750, you remember? 1750, try to go as close as possible to 850 marks. As close as possible to 850 marks you have to go. If you go, then only you are in the race, otherwise you are not in the race. Okay? I think there are some photographs also. All these people who have topped in the last couple of years. Approach to ethics. Basically, as I told you, try to develop, to build the vocabulary, the foundational language base, all these 7 or 8 chapters and case studies approach. You need to give a dedicated approach to ethics. Do not leave ethics. If you are not joining here, I suggest do not leave ethics. If you join here, I will take care of it, don't worry. If you are joining somewhere else, deciding to join, you ask the institution to give adequate support to ethics paper. Very, very important. The interview, start from day one, work on the communication skills from day one. Whenever you are asking a doubt in the class, have the courage to ask that doubt in English language. Even if you are not able to frame a sentence, even if you think somebody will laugh at you, let them laugh. It doesn't make any difference to you. One day you will laugh at them in return. But when you will laugh, they do not know where to look at. Okay? So try to understand the importance of the self-conviction that I can talk. You have to talk, right? This one dimension, knowing yourself, is very, very important in the journey of UPSC preparation. This is what you should do. You should know yourself, who you are, what you are, why you are. All these questions you should find answers. Read and by heart your biodata. Whatever you write, you need to biodata. Develop a positive attitude. I have seen this. See, we have spent 12-13 years standing on the stage and teaching students. It takes 30 seconds to show the student his or her place when it comes to knowledge, or when it comes to the dimensions of our awareness levels or the students' awareness levels. But there are some students who think they only know everything. The day you think that you only know everything, your downfall has started already. So never ever get carried away attitude wise, that arrogance wise, attitude is a wrong word, arrogance wise, that I know it all. There is nobody on this planet Earth who knows it all. What we know in the drop, if the drop is an ocean, we only know a drop in that drop. So nothing more than that we know. When I say that I know only drop in the drop, then where you stand, you should have to gauge for yourself. So never ever try to showcase. See, if you have done your BTech or MTech in a particular field, it is understood you will have a better understanding in that particular field, and we all will respect that. But at any given point of time, do not try to showcase your faculty or the teacher or the mentor in the bad spirit. Do not do that. Okay? Because if you try to do that, it is not that the faculty will feel bad or what. No, nothing like that. It is only the time will take its own course to show your place. Do not do that mistake ever. Okay? Do not emanate negative energy from your body. Right? Develop self-confidence. It will come, but it will come only by rehearsing. You have to do lot of rehearsing, writing or speaking, both. Are they going to write exam? Are they going to write the exam? No, right? Why are they reading newspaper? Awareness. There are people who want to know what is happening around. They are aware of their surroundings. When you are preparing for a competitive examination, which happens to be the toughest competitive examination in the world, students still ask me, sir, should I read newspaper? What should be my answer? What should be my answer? Students come and ask me, sir, how many hours I should study? Is there any template? I say 8 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours, 2 hours. Are you copy? Yes or no? See, if I say 6 hours, does it mean that after 6 hours ghadi band kiya or no? See, try to understand, your dream is big. Your dream is big. If your dream is big, you have to make in that additional effort. Do not do measured effort. If it is measured effort, the result will also be measured. So try to understand the importance. When you are doing something, you do it that you have to do it for the purpose of that aim. If you measure, look at time, मेरा time हो गया, इससे ज़्यादा मैं नहीं पढ़ सकता, then you are not in the race. So never ever judge your preparation with the clock. There is no place for clock in UPSC, only to manage your time. That's all. Your effort is not dependent on your clock. Your effort is dependent on the fire in the belly that you have, that you want to make it. Right? So try to understand the essence. Newspaper reading is a must. Yes, there is a timeline when to start. There is a methodology how to read the newspaper. But newspaper reading is a must. Choose your optional wisely. Only one suggestion I would give is, do not be in a hurry when you choose your optional. Take time, 2 to 3 months time. There are various dimensions when you choose your optional, whether there is a good faculty available or not, whether there is good study material available or not, what is the past performance of this optional in UPSC, how much marks people are getting, is what you call the support of this optional in GS paper is there or not, all these dimensions. And last not the least, do I have interest in studying this paper or not? All these dimensions have to be taken into consideration when you prepare for this particular battle. See, understand, in UPSC, this is an exam for the jack of all trades. This is an exam for jack of all trades. You should know everything superficially, upar. But only when you need to be a master is your option. He will dive so deep into the mother earth when he asks you a question. If you have not mastered that optional subject, then you will definitely find difficult to get the desired marks. If you are getting anywhere less than this in optional, you are out of the race of IAS straight away. If you are a general category student and if you are getting less than 300 in optional, you are straight away out of the race of IAS. If you get anywhere between 270, less than 270 in your optional, you are out of the race for IPS also. So that is how 30 to 40 marks will also make a difference. You have to master this subject and you need to take. There are some students who ask me, sir, is coaching a must? I say no, coaching is not a must, provided you have 4 years of time to prepare. If you have 4 years of time, you don't need any coaching. But even in that situation, I would suggest or I would stand on my words when I say you need coaching for optional. Because optional is one subject, he is going into the depth and asking you a question. And a subject expert on your optional sits in your interview panel also. One subject expert is sitting. You will see only that person will ask you questions pertaining to your optional or your field of graduation studies. That person will ask you questions. So, mastering your optional is also a must here. Study material, the sources of study material. First is your prescribed textbook, what your class notes. Most important that you need to revise. Second is the prescribed textbook. Third importance is given to the study material that I will give you. Last, if you have time, yearly compendiums and the newspaper. If these 5 pillars, if you are holding firmly, you are in the right approach. You can leave this also from my side. No issues. But only 2 subjects you hold on to these. One is environment and one is science and technology. Yearly compendiums you have to study. Because these 2 are the subjects where questions will come from current affairs perspective only. The word is only. So whatever has happened in the last 1-2 years, if you happen to read those yearly compendiums, you will be in the safe area when you write your prelims examination. There are many students who pass the prelims examination, but they fail in the mains examination. Many students you will come across because 3,000, 10,000 people. So every year 10,000 people adding. There are people, why? Because from day one they did not do mains oriented. They did not do any mains answer writing. They did not read the textbooks. Only class notes and some guide material they have studied. They were successful in clearing prelims, but they will definitely fail in clearing mains examination because there is no perspective about a concept developed in their preparation. Right? No command on the English language. If you do not have command on the English language, you cannot pass your mains examination. You have to develop that command. When I say English language, the subject particular vocabulary language. Okay? Not paying adequate attention to optional, essay and ethics. If these 3 pillars you do not make an attempt, you will pass prelims but you will fail in your mains examination. Please do not commit. It is very painful to have passed prelims and failed in mains. It is less painful to fail in prelims, believe me. It is less painful. But after what happens, your friends will start saying, prelims kuda fluke ga pass ayipayina. So that is the reason why it becomes more painful if you pass prelims and fail in mains. Is Delhi avoidable in the process of preparation? It is not avoidable. I would suggest avoid because it is not required. Everything you will get in Hyderabad, you don't have to go to Delhi. Some guidelines for the freshers, it is self-explanatory. One dimension that I would like to give to my students is you should know what is your syllabus. Because when you read the newspaper, if you do not know what article to omit and what article to give importance, that will come only from the knowledge of your what is your syllabus. See, whenever you are reading an article, the first question when you read the headlines, where is the mention about this article in my syllabus? If nothing comes to your mind, you are not supposed to read that article. South America or say Saudi Arabia brought one law. If you do not know the syllabus of IR, whatever law he has brought, if it is not linked to your Indian diaspora, that article is not meant for you. But as an idiot, you will keep sitting and writing the notes. So that dimensions you need to understand. Okay? So rest all are self-explanatory. See, this slide may seem redundant to you, but when you fail the exam, then you will realize the importance of each and every dimension. When you go to write the exam and come back with this, sullen face, that is when you will understand the importance of each and every dimension. And of all the important things, the most important dimension, the mentorship support. Why? Because a mentor is the person who will keep you away from negative energy. Faltu mein books, you will become book collectors, not district collectors. Because your roommate has bought a book, you will also buy a book. Because your roommate is studying something, you will also study something. If it was so important, either me or any person standing on this stage, they will tell you to study. So that is why the mentorship support becomes very, very important. So each and every line you try to understand why it is written here. Okay? I will not dwell upon them. Importance of mentorship, as I told you, the most important help is he will keep you away from myths and rumors. Do not follow them. Fault finding in your preparation strategy. Prelims you are doing well, mains there is no improvement. Work on your mains. Timely corrections will happen. Hand holding on preparation. Knowledge of source. Which book, which topic, which subject, which source in internet, everything will be guided to you by your mentor. And he will helps in keeping yourself motivated. A very important role of a mentor in your life. This is about the structured examination. The batch is starting from the 24th of October. It is a 9 months batch. The batch will end only in the month of July. The batch will end only in the month of July mid or July end May. If you are preparing, because I need 9 months of time to teach you every dimension in depth. If you are planning to write 2023 exam, I will do one thing is that whatever subjects are important from prelims perspective, I will teach them first only. So that if somebody is wanting to write the 2023 exam, all the topics related to prelims are covered in the before your prelims examination only, right? That is the logic. As I told you, classes will be there from Monday to Friday. Saturdays you have dedicated sessions. Web page support is also there. Study materials, I will show you this. I have probably the institute staff would have shown you the study materials. Then the dedicated mentor for each student. We will have, before you go for your prelims examination, we will have the NCERT and the comprehensive test series also as part of your foundation before you go for your final test, prelims test examination. Certain other dimensions, very, very important. This one dimension and this one dimension, very, very important. Okay. So this is how we will try to bring in the perspective of administrative style of answer writing in all of you. Okay. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other thing. Kaun bola? Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, when he abolished slavery, because the entire America was against him, his own countrymen were against him when he was wanting to abolish slavery, and it was finally the pro-slavery states that masterminded his assassination also. The first US president to have got assassinated. Okay, so this was his statement when he made the statement that always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other thing in this world. Very, very important dimension. Success at anything will come down to only two things. One is your focused effort and the second is your effort. One is focus and the second is your effort. If you have these two things, nobody can stop you from achieving whatever you want to achieve in your life. So the path to success is straight. Now you decide your own path. Anybody wanting to ask any questions? I'll be happy to answer them. Anyone? We'll see if there are any online questions also. Yeah, anyone, please. Yeah. Yes. See, mentorship means that generally the belief is that when the class is happening, I'll come, attend the class and go back home. It will not fetch you that result, sir. Mentor is who is keeping a track. As I told you, Monday to Friday you will have classes. Monday to Friday you will have classes. Monday to Friday you will have your classes. I told you Saturday you will have your tests. Yes or no? Prelims test will be there, mains test will be there. You have written this test. One dimension, somebody evaluating that paper. Second dimension, somebody giving you feedback how you have performed. Third dimension, now telling you how to study that particular subject. This role will be performed by a mentor. He will not only correct your paper, he will even do your counseling, and he will also teach you certain dimensions during counseling, and he will also correct your strategy. So this person is the mentor who will ensure your success in UPSC. Without a mentor, you cannot succeed in UPSC. I can stand front of anybody and make this statement. If you feel that you will attend the class regularly, go back home, study, and you will pass the examination, no. Because there is so much to learn. So the mentor will teach you what not to study or waste time upon. If you are too much into a particular subject, he will tell not required, stop at this level. Do not go further researching at this level. Because the researching in that particular subject will come at the cost of basic minimum understanding of some other subject. So that is where the mentor comes into play, that is where the mentorship comes into play. And this has to be given as part of foundational learning only. Yes, a guide. To be more precise, guide. Yeah. And mentors here are teaching faculties. That is the beauty. The teaching faculties are mentors here. So it is not only that he is a senior in UPSC, but he is a teacher who is standing here and teaching a subject. So we have 5 to 6 mentors who are strong in their respective domain areas. So if there is a student here, he will not go only to this one particular mentor. No. For history, she will go to him. For economy, she will go to somebody. For polity, she will go to somebody. So that is how whosoever is strong in a particular area, that is where the mentorship will keep on shuffling. There would be a chief mentor. There would be a mentor dedicated to her. Any other subject, any other doubt, she can always or he can always approach that mentor. It only reduces your time span, sir. In UPSC, the entire fight is to reduce the time. When you start, when you end is the time. Because I have seen students 9 years, 10 years into Ashoknagar. Waste of time. The worst place to survive on this planet, if it is there, it is this place. Okay? So water is not good, the atmosphere is not good, the ambience is not good, nothing is good. But majburi hai, kya karo? So we have to reduce our time of majburi and not expand. Okay? Yeah. Anything? Obviously, without faculty, how the option will happen? No. See, there are some, in optional, there are some core subjects in optional. Anthropology, sociology, public administration, PSIR, geography, mathematics, history. These are the 7 subjects which are known to be core optional subjects. If somebody is going to their graduation level of optional subjects, that is where, because the number of students are less, it becomes very difficult for the institute to arrange for a faculty. because the optional, see, for the GS the payment to the teacher happens at the rate per hour, but for optional the payment is not at the rate of per hour. The optional always happens sharing basis. The revenue is shared between the teacher and the institute. If there is only one student or two students, how will that teacher survive? Because it will take 5 months to teach an optional. It will take 4 to 5 months minimum to teach an optional, even if in a week 4 days or 5 days of class is conducted every day 2.5 hours, it will take 4 to 5. So that is where it becomes difficult for the institutions to provide faculties for subjects like agriculture. There are people who take subjects law. There are people who take subjects, accountancy. It becomes difficult there. Okay. It is not that there are some institutions which are giving online support. Offline, rarely you will find support for these kind of subjects. See, even an MBBS will not take medicine as a subject. They will not take. Even an engineer will not take engineering, core engineering as their subject. Even if he or she has done PhD in engineering, even then they will not take. Because the level of questions that are asked is very, very high. इंजीनियरिंग का तो ऊपर से रॉकेट जाएगा, समझ में नहीं आएगा किस सेक्शन का है क्वेश्चन, ठीक है. सो इट इज ऑलवेज एडवाइजेबल टेक, आई टोल्ड यू नो, द 5 पिलर्ड स्ट्रैटेजी फॉर ऑप्शनल: गुड स्टडी मटेरियल, गुड टीचर, सपोर्ट इन द जीएस, your past performance of that particular subject, and lastly your own interest. If you go only by your interest, neglecting the other 4 dimensions, then you will suffer. So try to balance your interest with other dimensions of option. So then only, see, even if one element of your preparation is weak, it will only pull you down. That's the logic. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody wants to ask? Nothing? Yeah. See, mentor is not, it's like, see, it is not like, you you ring up 2 o'clock in the night. Sir, मैं अभी पढ़ रहा था तो आपसे अभी बात करने का मन किया. ऐसा नहीं. The staff is there in my institute. You come, if at all for any reasons he is not there, he might be taking class or something. You call the institute a day before, tomorrow I want to meet my mentor, they will arrange it. That's how it happens. See, he is not available at the drop of your hat. No, he is available to you, but not at the drop of your hat. Whenever you want to meet, class ho gaya, if he is available, please meet. The mentors are generally there. Yeah. That's all. So, if there are no questions, we'll wind up this session. If anybody wants to meet me in person after this session, I'm there on the 2nd floor. You can come down and meet. Okay. Thank you very much.